everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a sort of quick video, we'll see how quick it ends up being, talking about 6 books that I think you should read before the end of the year. I do this sort of video every year around this time of year, usually a little bit earlier, like at some point in October, and we're definitely now into November, but usually I recommend 10 books that you should read before the end of the year. So since it is November, I did want to cut it down to less than 10 books, so today I'm talking about 6 books. You might notice that there are no historical romances on this list, and that is because I am about to film a video completely dedicated to historical romances that I've been loving lately and just giving love to that genre in general, so be on the lookout for that video. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump on into this list of books. First book I want to bring up is a part of a romantic fantasy series that I read pretty much the entirety of this year and am absolutely obsessed with, and it has become one of my top favorite romantasy series. That is the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. This, to me, is like the perfect series to go with if you have read like all of Sarah J Maas's books and you don't know where to go next. I think this would be a really great series to go with. So if you don't know what this is about, though I'm sure a lot of you do, because I think this went viral on Book Talk and probably on BookTube and Instagram as well. This is a King Midas retelling, and we have our main character Auren, who is gold. She has gold skin, gold hair. You get the picture. And she has been kept in this gold gilded cage by King Midas as essentially a pet. So the main catalyst of this story, I would say, is that King Midas ends up striking a deal with a ruler of the neighboring kingdom, and Auren is at the heart of that bargain. And that's where she realizes that her life and her relationship with Midas is not as it seems. And for me, Auren's character development from this first book to the end is one of the highlights of the series. I absolutely love her character so much. I do want to point out this first book in particular is very, very, very dark. Look up the content warnings for yourself. But I personally enjoyed this book for what it was. But starting with book 2, which is Glint onwards, is really where the series comes into its own. And also I have to mention Slade Ravenger, my new book husband. He is Auren's love interest, and he is everything. I say this every time I talk about this series. Rhys from ACOTAR walked so my boy Slade could run, and I love him so much, and their romance is everything. The world building in this series, the fantastical elements, in my opinion, are amazing and top-notch. There are specific books in this series that like broke my brain because of the world building and the lore. It is just that amazing. So if you have been putting off this series like I did for a long time, this is your sign to definitely pick it up. Next, we've got a couple of contemporary romances. I want to bring up At First Spite by Olivia Dade. This is a book and an author really that I don't hear that many people talking about, which is kind of a shame, honestly, because I think some of her books are absolutely amazing. I'm pretty sure this is my favorite book of hers that I have read, but I was influenced to read this by Chandler from Chandler Ainsley. I had heard about this book, but I wasn't super motivated to pick it up for really no good reason, so I'm very glad that she talked about this book in a video because I adore this book so much. I feel like there are just so many layers and complexities to the story and the romance that is happening in this book. I don't know, I just feel like a lot of contemporary romances that are being traditionally published just don't have all that much complexity to them, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm definitely not like shitting on the genre as a whole, but I just found this book to be very refreshing because it is so complex and there's so many different things going on, but it's all balanced so well. I just feel like Olivia Dade did a fantastic job of writing this book. So this is a hate to love romance. We have our main character, Athena, and at the beginning of the book, her fiance ends their engagement pretty abruptly, and she is left kind of trying to pick up the pieces of her life because she moved to this small town where her fiance is from. Like, she only moved there to be with her fiance, and so now that that relationship is over, she's trying to find what to do next, basically. And things get even more complicated because Matthew, the hero of the story, is in fact the older brother to Athena's now ex-fiance, and he is the reason that her ex-fiance broke up with her. So she, understandably so, like, hates Matthew's guts at the beginning of this book. And one of the things I enjoyed about this book is the comedic elements of, like, she was pulling pranks to get back at him, because it ends up being that she moves into the house right next door to Matthew's, and so she's like blasts smutty audiobooks like right next to his bedroom window, and like just silly things like that. But then this book is also very, very emotional. There are definitely darker elements to this as well. And as you can see, Athena is a plus-sized heroine, which we love that. Olivia Dade is known for writing plus-sized heroines, plus-sized characters in general, and I love that about her books. But Athena ends up going through a very, very heavy depression. And as Matthew and Athena get to know each other, Matthew ends up taking care of her and helping her get through her depression. And that's one of the things that I absolutely adored about this book, is the caretaking, because it is truly next level. And Matthew ends up being the sweetest hero ever. I just fell in love with him throughout reading this book, and I related so much to Athena. And there are just so many things I could say about this book, but please just take my recommendation and read it. Next is a contemporary romance series that I am absolutely obsessed with, and I've only read 2 books of the series, but I can tell you now that it has become a top favorite romance series of mine, especially in this past year of reading, and that is the Kings of Sin series by Ana Huang. I'm holding up book 1, which is King of Wrath. I have read the first 2 books of this series, so King of Wrath and King of Pride, and oh my god, this series is so good. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Ana Huang. She is a very popular, now traditionally published author, and for very good reason. I love her writing. I love her romances. I have truly enjoyed every book that I have read by her. But if you are someone that has not checked out her books yet, I actually would recommend starting with this series, because to me, this is like top tier billionaire romances, top tier contemporary romances in general. They are just so good, and these first 2 books of the series that I have read each have their own unique vibe to them. The couples have a unique vibe, in my opinion, and I just love these characters so much. And I am not someone that like adores billionaire romances. Those are not typically the types of romance books that I seek out, you know what I mean? But I just feel like Ana Huang writes them so well, and I'm just absolutely obsessed. And I haven't even gotten to the book in this series that I'm like the most excited for yet, which is book 3, King of Greed. I am so pumped to read that book, but I am also finding myself savoring this series because each book has just been so amazing, in my opinion. I also think this would be a great series to go with if you want to dip your toe into darker romances. There are definitely darker themes going on in this series, but it's definitely not super dark or super unhinged, anything like that. And Ana Huang knows how to write chemistry and tension between her main characters, and these books are like just the right amount of sexy and steamy. So yes, so good, and I cannot wait to continue on with it. Next up, we are now getting into non-romance books. I mean, I have to bring this book up, and it actually matches the dress that I'm wearing right now. That is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I just had to bring this up. I know that obviously, like, this is a super popular book, and most people that are into the Hunger Games world have already read this, but like, if you are someone that has been putting it off for whatever reason, this video is your sign to pick it up immediately. I did a reading vlog, I'll link up in the cards above, dedicated to my reading experience with this book. So you get my like immediate reactions to things that happen throughout. I kind of designed that vlog to be like, you could read the book with me, because in each update I tell you like what chapter I stop at, and then I, you know, discuss things that are going on and characters and things like that. So would highly recommend checking out that video, especially if you want to pick up the book soon or are already in the process of reading it. But this, if you don't know, is a prequel to the main Hunger Games trilogy. We are centering around Haymitch Abernathy. This is chronicling his games, which was the 50th annual Hunger Games. And in my opinion, I think this might just be the best written book of the series. And I do not say that lightly, because the original trilogy, in my opinion, is like impeccable, no notes. But I really feel like Suzanne is just one of those authors that is continuously working on her craft, and that is very evident in this book. To be honest with you guys, I didn't go into this book with super high expectations, and that's only because I didn't absolutely love Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So I wasn't really sure what to expect out of this book, but I really should have known better, because it's Haymitch, like, come on. It is so amazing and heartbreaking and heart-wrenching to follow his character as a 16-year-old. And Suzanne is also one of those authors that is just so amazing at writing characters. Her character development, in my opinion, should be like studied in schools. The way that in this book in particular, like, she introduces other participants in the Hunger Games, you really find yourself rooting for these characters so quickly, and then of course you're devastated because of the nature of the Hunger Games. And also special shout out to the way that she wrote President Snow in this book, because holy shit, this is like the most terrifying version of President Snow that I've ever experienced. Wow, I can only imagine how Ralph Fiennes is going to portray him in the film version of this, because yeah, I don't think any of us are ready for that. But yeah, I could go on and on and on and on. But if you have not read this book yet, what are you doing? So the last books I want to talk about are more like literary, contemporary / historical fiction books that totally blew me away this year. The first one I want to talk about is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I mean, what can I say? I am a huge fan of this author and her books, and it's very rare that I give one of her books less than 5 stars for sure, and this book is no different. So this one takes place in mainly the 1980s and centers around our main character Joan and how she's trying to work her way up to become an astronaut in the NASA space program. A big part of this story is her romance with Vanessa, who is a fellow astronaut, and there are parts of this book that feel very much like a space thriller, because this is a book that time jumps between the present and the past. And in the present part of the story, we are following this space mission that has gone terribly, terribly wrong, and Joan is working in mission control on Earth, and Vanessa is one of the astronauts basically stuck in space. So definitely, you know, that part of the story will get your heart pumping for sure. And then following Joan's life leading up to this point, it's just also beautifully, beautifully written, and the romance plot in this was absolutely everything. Also, special shout out to a part of the book that I absolutely adored was Joan's relationship with her niece Frances. We see throughout the book that she very much becomes a maternal figure to her niece, and like they just have such a special bond that I absolutely loved reading about, especially because I myself recently became an aunt, and it just made that part of the story mean so much more to me. But yeah, this book is amazing, amazing, amazing. So good. Please read it if you haven't. And last but not least, I have to bring up The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I feel like, I don't know that I've talked about this book at all on my channel since I read it. I might have talked about it in a Currently Obsessed video, but now I can't remember. But for some reason it feels like I never talked about this book. But this is a like Wuthering Heights retelling that meets the world of ice dancing. And so this follows our main characters, Katarina and Heath, and how, I mean, this follows like decades in their life, how they come to become ice dancing partners and how they work their way up all the way to being in the Olympics years and years later. And there is so much drama in this book, and I was eating it all up. This book definitely will remind you of Daisy Jones and the Six, because there are parts of this book that are told in interview style, as if you're like watching a documentary about Kat and Heath. And that just added so much to the story, especially if you listen to this audiobook, because they did get a full cast of narrators for this. Just hearing like all of these different people in the ice dancing world talking about Kat and Heath, and then seeing their story play out in real time from Kat's point of view. This was just so freaking good, and I am someone who is just obsessed with figure skating and ice dancing, and so I was eating that up as well. Like, I wanted these characters to be real people. Just so good. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the 6 books that I think you should read before the end of the year. I would love it if you would leave a comment down below if you want to recommend a couple of books that you think I should read, or other people that are watching this video should read before the end of the year. I love getting recommendations from you guys in the comments. With all of that being said, I would love it if you would leave a like and subscribe, and I thank you so much in advance if you do, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!